What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great. There's a huge amount of bots in the chat. That's super annoying. I'm trying to hide them all, but it's not going to work. I think. But how's everyone doing? Let's get some real comments in the comment section. No, it's too much. It's way too much. But guys, this is a good moment to tell you that all those comments with those strange names or strange coins, those are all scams. All right. I think most of you understand that, but it's all scams. So yeah. So hopefully you already knew that, but now you know, and it's almost impossible for me to. For me to ban them, because what they do is, like, for example, they shill a coin called this, right? So this is a coin, this is a scam coin, and they're spamming this coin. And then when I ban this specific word, all right, so when I say, all right, every comment with this word should get deleted, what they'll do is they'll do this, right? So they'll change it slightly to be something like this. And they keep doing that, and I keep banning them, but every time they switch up one letter, one number, and they can get through, all right? And YouTube doesn't moderate enough for me to stop it, so it's incredibly annoying. But that's a little bit of behind the scenes why these spam bots keep coming. There's basically no way for me to get rid of them unless I make the chat something like members only, which is obviously not something I'm going to do. But yeah, so what's up, everybody? Welcome to this new live stream. We're back again. We're going to be looking at some news. In about 6.5 minutes, we'll get some data, which I think matters. I mean, all data matters. Some data matters more than other data. This data, look, it could make the markets move a lot short term, but it is very dependent on what the actual data outcome is, right? So non-farm payrolls, if it's just as expected, it's most likely not going to do that much to price. And same with unemployment rates. There's a relatively high chance that the unemployment rate is just as expected, and then we're not going to really get that much of a market reaction. At least not short term. I mean, obviously the US session is opening in a little bit over an hour. So maybe then we'll get a bit of a delayed reaction. That's also a possibility. But for now, that's the news that I wanted to cover live. And then afterwards, we'll also take a look at the market. So I'll tell you how I view Bitcoin right now. You can see Bitcoin here is forming some sort of a balance again between 96,300 at the bottom and then 97,200 here at the top. We're going to get a breakout. It's the last week of April, aka first month and first 2 days of May. Those can be quite volatile, and then outside of that, I mean, obviously the price action we've had in the last couple of days with all those imbalances to the downside, a lot is possible, right? And that could be a continuation upwards. Could also be the start of a crash, just so you know. Boris, I'm going to make a special hat for you. Dog on runes. Hassel, after the news, remind me. Then I'll take a look at it. But first, I want to focus a little bit on Bitcoin, focus a bit on the news, which is almost coming in. There's some other things I want to keep an eye on. Jeroen, everything is good. How are you? And then afterwards, I'll take some suggestions and we'll take a look at some interesting coins here. Same with Trump coin. Start of a crash, Alex. It's a possibility. we have to take into account all the possibilities, and then make good decisions based on that. It seems like the market is preparing slightly for the news here. What you can see is that the volatility in the markets has decreased very, very much, and a lot of coins right here seem to be very correlated with Bitcoin, which usually happens ahead of great news. I mean, for example. Well, Alex, it could be the start of a crash. That doesn't mean that it's going to crash, right? But if the unemployment rate, for example, is going to be 4.4%, then we'll get some recession fears. And if we get recession fears, the S&P 500's pre-market is going to retrace at least quite significantly, and Bitcoin is going to follow that. So that's definitely a possibility. But for now, it all depends on the data, right? And S&P 500 futures, it's very quiet. Yesterday post market, we had a bit of a move up, as you can see, but at this point of time, it's basically at the same levels as where it was at yesterday morning. So very stable, and it seems like the general financial markets are just kind of waiting for some sort of update, whether that's earnings, of course, this last week have been quite good, so that's good news. But I think in general we're also just waiting for this economic data, some more news regarding financial markets, some more news regarding regarding the how do you call it, the geopolitical tensions in the world, which obviously there's a lot going on with that as well. I forgot to notify everybody that we're live, by the way. So that's it's a bit of a mistake on my part. But then then we have the real OGs in the chat with us right now. So yeah, that's great. XEN. Is XEN doing something? I have to keep an eye on the news as well. I mean, I don't want to miss this. By the way, the website I'm looking at, the stream has a bit of a delay. So if you want to see the data at the same point as me, click the link that I will send in the comments right now. I'll pin it. There you'll get the data as soon as I get it, and if you just watch the stream for the data, you're going to be a little bit late because YouTube standard has a small delay in the streams that I cannot change. What's up, Team Dave? How are you? Zane, it's as important. I would say it's as important, this news, but the news that we got earlier this week was much different than expected. So that is also what it depends on. If this data is going to be as expected, it's going to cause less of a reaction. If it's also if it's also much different from what we expect, as in the actual data compared to the consensus, then it's going to make the markets move more. Unemployment rate can make the markets move a lot. Mike, usually bearish. Usually sniffing is bearish. I remember like the sniffing stopped when the market got a little bit more bullish over the course of April. So who knows? Yeah, Yaroslav. Yeah, I'm looking at I'm looking at opening a position, but so far, given the news, given in general the state of Bitcoin and altcoins in combination with Bitcoin, I haven't done that yet. Place orders for say. All right, news in 30 seconds. News in 30 seconds, everybody. And like I said, it's also pinned, this website, exactly this is pinned in the comments, all right, if you want to see it as soon as I see it. No, Alex, that's my sniffing, it's I have some sort of a strange morning allergy. It's 5 seconds. I'm not sure yet what it exactly is. All right, 2 seconds. We'll see. I'm not going to take a look at the markets before we actually see the data coming in. We want to see as expected data. Unemployment rate is as expected. Non-farm payrolls is neutral. This is not bad news. Non-farm payrolls are higher than expected. I would argue it's a bit too early to say. It's a bit too early to say. The market reaction so far is pretty good, but I would say the data is neutral. So I'm not sure if this is going to make the markets move a lot. The unemployment rate, as you can see, as expected, is 4.2%. And then we have non-farm payrolls. They are higher than expected. So that goes against the GDP data a little bit that we had earlier this week. But the previous data was revised, all right? So therefore it's neutral. We have, like, the actual data is a little bit more positive, or it's higher than expected. But they also revised the previous data to actually be lower. So that's a little bit bearish. And therefore this news, I don't want to lie to you. This news probably will not make the markets move too much. And I might even go as far as saying that it's slightly bullish, but that's mainly because the price action just in general has been relatively bullish, right? I'm not sure how the stock markets are reacting right now. Yeah, the S&P 500 is also not really reacting. So I'm sorry for going live for such a non-event. And maybe during the US session, it's still going to do something. And in general, Fridays, especially during the month transition, excuse me. especially during the month transition, Fridays can still be very volatile, right? So that is definitely something you should take into account. But for those of you tuning in later, or if I have to repeat it, the news is neutral, all right? It's neither bullish nor bearish. The unemployment rate and the non-farm payrolls are the most important data we had. The unemployment rate is as expected. Expected was 4.2%. Actuals for 4.2%. Non-farm payrolls, the previous data was revised. It's now lower than expected, so that's bearish. And then the actual data is higher than expected, so that's bullish, right? So that evens itself out, and therefore I would say the non-farm payrolls also do not matter that much, and that means that at least for now, Bitcoin remains stable. I mean, you can see we've seen a little bit of volatility, but the volume is also pretty low. So the US markets are opening in what is it, 58 minutes. We're going to see volatility then, certainly, but I don't think we're going to see volatility because of this. I mean, we might have to keep a closer eye on the general financial news and general news, basically. Yeah, there's nothing major right now that matters, I think, for the crypto markets in terms of news. There's obviously a lot going on right now, so that will have an impact. But for now, Bitcoin is just stable right here between 96,400 and 97,200, and that's it, all right? I would avoid any moves here in the middle. And if you really want to trade Bitcoin, which I mean, I understand. I mean, it's very exciting, of course. Then I would wait for the price to get to those edges. And we still obviously, which I also talked about in the video this morning, we still have this major support level right here at 95,500. So if we get a bit of a bearish opening today during the US session, we might spike down to that. Do I think that's most likely? I find that hard to say. I think it's I think you should definitely be prepared for it. And if you open any positions, I think you should be ready for a move of Bitcoin down into 95,000 as well. But for now, like I said, if we can trust the price action over the course of today and the last 2 weeks, and we can trust the market's reaction to this news, I would say stability, at least on the higher time frames, is still most likely. Like I said, a huge imbalance here to the downside. So dropping down into that, I personally don't call that volatility, right? If Bitcoin goes for that level at 95,400, that's a drop from the current price of about 1.3%. So in my eyes, that's not volatility. But if you're trading very low time frames, then you might consider that as volatility. So be prepared for that. But outside of that, it's possible, of course, because it is a Friday, but there's no technical indication right now that's telling us that we're going to be very, very volatile. You can see altcoins are very reactive to, excuse me, altcoins are very reactive to Bitcoin. So be aware of that, all right? If you're going to take a position on altcoins, keep an eye on where Bitcoin is compared to the other price levels. But outside of that, that's it. And I think that's everything you need to know. So that let's do some suggestions. We had Dog. Someone wanted to know about this. Oh, looks pretty good. Strong uptrend here. What can we see? 3-day time frame maybe. And let me know if you have any questions regarding anything I said, right? That's also where these streams are very good at. I can very, very quickly and very accurately, or at least I'll try to, answer questions. But no, Dog looks pretty good here. The main level here that we need to hold seems to be 0.25 cents. But technically we look good for at least continuation into this zone right here towards 0.35 cents. Pretty good. Looks like we formed a pretty decent bottom. And like I said, I mean, we can pull back into 0.25, 0.23 cents. But I would argue that's more of a buy opportunity than a reason to be worried for Dog. Hemant, Solana can hit those levels, yeah, but it's unlikely short term. Solana will only hit those levels if Bitcoin starts to break down, right? And I just told you I don't necessarily think that Bitcoin is going to break down. So therefore, I also wouldn't I wouldn't say Solana down to 120, 115 seems very likely. Yeah, Trump, but You mean the Trump coin, right? Not Trump. Or do you mean, or is it some sort of a coin I don't know about? Which could also be true. What did I want to do? What did I want to do? I wanted to analyze something else. TARS. Let's take a look at TARS AI here. Where do I have the chart? No, I don't really have the chart here. I think I have it somewhere else. Bybit maybe. Maxi could also be true. Oh yeah, I have it on Bybit. Alright, let's take a look at TARS AI. Bit of a fake out here. TARS looks decent. I mean, we had to really reclaim this level right here at 10 cents. Didn't do that. So I would say short term, like, can we hold this support level right here at 6 and 5 cents? Yes. But I do think it's more likely we'll drop down into that, find some support there, and then maybe from there, if we get some AI strength or if we get some more market strength, then we can break out and break back above into this zone right here between 10 and 17.5 cents, because that's ultimately what we want. But so far it looks like a fake out into into acceptance back into this area a little bit lower, between 6 and 10 cents. Trump, but I don't know Trump coin. Right? Is this it? Is it by Trump? Is this the coin you mean, or do you just mean the normal Trump coin? I have a little bit of TARS, not much, but I do have a small spot position on it. Virtual was quite bullish over the course of the last 1.5 weeks, of course. This still looks very good. I mean, take a look at the volume. Volume is incredibly high. We're at a major resistance zone right here. Yes, there's an imbalance from in the past at 1.8. That's true, but given the current market circumstances, given the current strength of virtuals, like, could this be the top? Certainly. Would I bet on that? Would I trade that? No. I'd say it's still most likely that we're going for this next target right here at 2.25, 2.3 for virtuals. EOS looks very good. Looks bullish. That's all I can say about this. But it looks good. And the thing is that personally, obviously this is an uptrend, and I think it's most likely we're going to get continuation, because we also managed to break above this this high time frame key level right here at 21.5 cents. But I'm a bit greedy. I want to enter right here at 21.5 and 21 cents, maybe even with some sort of a fake out like this. So I'm being greedy with this. There's plenty of positions right now that I'm trying to get into, so I'm not forcing anything too much, and I also don't want to be in too many positions at once, given these market circumstances, I'd say. Let's see. Let's do two more. Ethereum, and then I also have to start preparing the market update, of course. Ethereum still within range. Within range right here between 1840 and 1760. Given my views on Bitcoin though, which is that we're still stable, and even though we might pull back lower here and grab some liquidity, bullish continuation still seems most likely. So for Ethereum, like, you should be aware of some sort of a liquidity grab like this. But ultimately, when we're talking about a breakout, like I said yesterday in my video as well, I still think bullish continuation is most likely for Ethereum. Let's see. Okay, let's finish off here with Mu. Or Alex, you you mean Mu, right? Or not? I think you do. I think that's also what we talked about in the chat. And then we'll finish the stream. Sui Loft I covered this morning in a video, and that video is still 100% valid. Some volume coming in for Mu here. Let's see what we have. Previous balance high here towards 0.32 cents, as you can see, right about here. So Mu seems good. We're gaining some new volume here, but I would only trade this either with a strong pullback into this level right here at 0.27, 0.26 cents, or if we can get a breakout right here above 0.32 cents. There we have the 200 EMA. we have the value area high of the balance we had right here. So that's previous balance, which we want to break out above. So those are the areas where I would trade this. But we got some nice volume, so that's a good start of momentum. And therefore, I do think the bullish breakout is probable. I just would wait for it before trading it. But that's it, guys. That's the stream for now. For those of you tuning in later, the news, unfortunately, I would have loved to tell you about some very significant news, but the news wasn't that significant in the end. Unemployment rate is as expected, and non-farm payrolls is also neutral, with some better and some worse than expected data. So we're probably going to get a volatile US session, but I don't expect as much volatility as we could have had if the data was more different than expected. But that's it for now, guys. That's the live stream for now. I will record a middle of the day market update after this. I'll also record a video for my second channel. So if you're like, I'm not sure what you're talking about, second channel, check out the posts here on the channel. I post about the stock market on there. Very, very important and also very interesting. But that's it for now. So thank you all for being here. And all right, I just got a $10 from Chris. Chris, I appreciate it. And then we have to cover SUI. I did a video on that this morning as well, talking about all the details. But for now, SUI is at a major resistance level. We found balance here, as you can see, between 3.75 and 3.4, and we're waiting for a breakout out of that balance. But at this point of time, given the stability that I do expect for Bitcoin on the short term, I think that any deviation below this balance will result in a reclaim, and also any deviation above the balance, since we are losing volume right here, will also lead to a reclaim, right? So if we do something like this, I think that will end with this back into the range. And we're waiting for a real breakout. And the one thing you should keep an eye on for a real breakout is a high time frame candle either below 3.4 or above 3.75 with volume. All right, volume just needs to be big. All right, then we can be certain that it's a real move and a real breakout. But that's what I think you need to know. And there's some more information in the SUI video I made. But for now, that's it, guys. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here with the live stream. I'll see you all in new live streams. I think next week we actually have some major economic data again with the FOMC meeting. So I'll see you all there. But for now, that's it. Have a great day. Have a great weekend in advance, of course. Make sure to join the free Discord, a free Telegram. Make sure to follow me on X for all the updates. But that's it for now. So